Hello, I'm Tan, the Tan BOTC channel. I wanted to talk about a movie that was just a traditional 80s fantasy movie. It still is. And it haunted children. I love this movie. But, like, we were watching different fantasy movies, me and Dave. I love a lot of them. I put a lot of them higher over Neverending Story. Like, I love Dark Crystal more. I love Labyrinth more. I don't love Legend more though. I think I prefer Neverending Story over Legend. And after my friend Dave watched it, I can see why he also thought it was one of the weaker ones, but still had its moments, especially with Tim Curry. Though those are very brief. The main characters are kind of eh. But one movie I thought about was, and I mentioned it, was The Neverending Story. And I actually think this movie weirdly ages well in some places, others not, like the green screen with the flying parts. But there's one scene in it that, like, there are people who still kind of like analyze and talk about the themes. It's kind of almost similar to like Stanley Kubrick movies. Um, I should have my camera where I'm showing most of my shelf, but I don't care. Uh, it's that one scene where the Empress looks at the camera and is calling out and even says that they were watching him while he was in the bookstore. Like that moment, and I got to see Neverending Story in theaters finally, like a couple months back, and that moment was like, we're on another level, bro. Whoa! Like, this movie made me realize the title of it, and I'm sure people have already picked up on the title and have talked about it before, but I wanted to talk about it anyways. I don't care. But I just love that the reason it's called Never Ending Story isn't because they made sequels. They have to have a bunch of sequels or whatever, which ironically they didn't have much. They only had two other sequels. But the never ending story is the stories is us. We are part of that never ending story. Us the viewers, then the reader character, and then the character within the story. It's never ending because so many people that view that movie or watch it or rewatch it, that's what makes it the never ending story. It's self-aware of the people watching it as a film, hence that one line of dialogue, but it's also self-aware of the main character reading the book of these characters. And that moment, like, it blows me away. And then there's like the villain. I'm trying to remember his name off the top of my head. Uh, where he's having final dialogue with the main character. Like the main character barely runs into this villain, but he still feels threatening. And this one last scene, back in the day, it didn't mean much. Nowadays, it weirdly is irrelevant and stands out. Him talking about because like why Fantasia is being destroyed because people are losing their hopes and dreams. Creativity is dying from the world. Whatever else he says, I can't remember everything he says, but it weirdly ages well and speaks to today in a weird way. And that, once again, coming back to that fourth wall breaking scene, it just kind of transcends a lot of movies. That one scene is freaking ridiculous because now you know what the title means when you really take that in. Because it's talking about you, it's talking about me, you. Sorry, I pointed at myself first. You, me, everybody who watches this movie continuously or just once in a while or once in their lifetime. It's never ending in that sense. And then there's, of course, the reader in the story, and then the characters that are involved in the story. It's a never ending loop. That is why it is called the never ending story. And I freaking love that. It's somehow a weirdly genius film because of that. I hope you found what I talked about interesting. Maybe you've already heard it before. Maybe you've already thought about it, but I just wanted to talk about it. I thought it was really cool, and it just makes that movie weirdly like age well. It almost makes me want to put it in my top 10 favorite movies, but like I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a brilliant movie, but that holy crap, that's like this really brilliant spot in this movie that just feels like your typical fantasy, your 80s fantasy movie. But I don't think it's typical. That's a freaking awesome movie, and it's just weird how that transcends that part. I'll see you next time. Bye.